Good evening. This is Cutler on the Let's Talk to Cutler broadcast. I'm so thankful that you all are here with me. Do me a favor, if this is your first time joining in and watching my channel and tuning in, do me a favor, go ahead and subscribe. And after you subscribe, make sure you click on the notification bell so you can be made aware of whenever I've gone live. This channel, my channel, is all about inspiration and motivation and challenging us to become better so that we can show up just a little bit better tomorrow than we did today. It doesn't mean that today has been a wash. It just means there's always opportunity for improvement, always opportunity for growth, always opportunity for expansion, and opportunity for what I call, right along with Maslow's theory of self-actualization, always more room and more space for us to self-actualize and see who we are. Speaking of who we are, I want to ask you all this. Do you really know the stuff that you are made of? Do you know what's within inside of you so that you can survive and make it from one day to the next, and not just make it, but make it victoriously, make it successfully, make it with victory in your heart, your hand, your mind, and your soul? I want to talk about that, and I'll do it as soon as I come back.
Let's talk to God. One more thing, like, subscribe and share. Come on, let's talk to God. Woo!
Come on, let's talk to Cutler. Hey, you all, it's me, Cutler, here, and it is May let me look at the date. It is really May 18th. I can't believe that we are over halfway through the month. Listen, you all know I'm here every Tuesday, every Thursday at 8 o'clock. I'm going live every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 o'clock. And whatever space you're sharing with me, I want to say thank you for that. Whether it's your living room, your dining room, your car, your front porch, your back porch, whether you're just walking along the highway or street taking a walk, and you have me with you, thank you for sharing this space with me. This is about going along this highway. We're reading billboards from this book right here. These quotes: Billboards to Better, 366 daily sources of motivation and inspiration along the highway of life. You can go on over to Amazon.com and pick it up. You can go over to my website, www.gbcutler.com, and pick it up. There is something in here. There's a quote for every single day. As a matter of fact, buy the book and you'll discover there are even some bonus quotes for you as well. But it's about making sure that we become better. And it's not just about becoming better for the sake of becoming better, but it's getting to that place and making sure that we take someone along with us. So I want to say thank you all for joining me along this highway ride. I call you all my fellow passengers. Some of you may even be my chauffeurs. You might be, or I may be chauffeuring you, whatever the case may be. We're riding and traveling together. And guess what? My goal is for us to have the most crowded car on the highway. And if this car becomes too crowded, we'll just start a caravan. So let's pick up passengers. You all make sure that you share and subscribe and comment and like and do all that kind of stuff. And as you come into the chat, do me a favor. Go ahead and do a thumbs up on the conversation. It encourages my heart, but it also lets YouTube know that, hey, I kind of like the information and the stuff that content that the guy has uploaded and that he's talking about. Thank you all for that. I want to ask you, and I want to talk about it, and I'll shout out as you're joining the chat and the conversation. I'll put it in the chats and talk about our LTTC VIPs. LTTC VIPs, our LTTC, yes, VIPs, very important people, and all of you are very important people, but I tend to sort of recognize those who just joined the chat really, really early. But you all, life gives us so many opportunities to become better. Life gives us so many opportunities to grow. And my goal for being here each Tuesday and Thursday is to make sure that we capitalize on those moments. We capitalize on those instances and those situations where we can look and say, no, everything is not the way that we want it, but everything is not bad. Everything is not destructive. Everything is not breaking me down, but there are some things that are really building me. There are some things and situations that are really growing me. There are some life experiences that we get to share with each other. And that's what this book is all about. It's about sharing those life experiences and opportunities with you. Some of the ones that I have, some of the ones that have been most inspiring to me, some of those that have been most pivotal to me in terms of my growth as a human being, as a person. All right. I'm just here to share those with you. And I thank you for allowing me to do so. I want to read our quotes as we always do. When we get together here on a Tuesday, we read the quotes from Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. We very seldomly read the quotes from Saturday, but I want to do that this evening. And then, of course, when we get here, when we come back on Thursday, we'll read the quotes from Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. But I want to read our Saturday quote this evening, if I may, because it resonates with me, as I think the past few have. So I just want to have what is called a little fireside chat with you, kind of like FDR used to have when he was sitting in the White House as president. You all, let's go to the quote from May 16th, which was Saturday. Yes, that's right. Sunday, rather. It was Sunday, May 16th. So I want to read that Sunday's quote. Or do I want to start? Okay, I'll just start with the Sunday quote. So we'll just do Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. All right. And if I decide to do the previous Saturday, I'll do it a little later and come back. But I want to go directly to the Sunday quote, which was May 16th. And it says, when life tries to bury you, spread your roots and grow. When life tries to bury you, spread your roots and grow. Why did I decide to put this quote in the book? Because it speaks to me about those situations that are challenging. It speaks to me about those situations that come to bury, that come to crush, and come to overwhelm us. And we all have those moments. We all have those situations and circumstances. And my motivation, my moment of inspiration to us this evening is to learn how to handle those situations. Learn how to defeat those situations that mean you no good. And by defeating those situations, it calls upon you to look inside yourself. It requires us to look inside ourselves and really see, what am I made of? What is the stuff that's inside of me? Is there perseverance inside of me? Is there stick-to-itness inside of me? And yes, there is. It's inside of you, and there's a little bit inside of all of us. So this quote says, when life tries to bury you, spread your roots. It's about making sure that you, if nobody else understands the inner strength, the inner tenacity, the inner fortitude that you have, nobody else has to see it. As a matter of fact, sometimes you don't even see it yourself. But guess what? You know how to call upon it and pull it out when the moment calls for it. It's just like being pushed into a pool, and you said, you know what? Push me into a pool and watch me swim. Push me in the water if you want to. Push me into a situation that you thought was going to consume me and watch me swim. I may not have ever swam before, but watch me swim in this situation. Push me out of a plane and watch me fly. No, you may not have ever thought that I had wings, but watch me learn how to adapt and adjust to this situation. That's what this quote is all about. Learning how to adapt, adjust, and overcome. Know how to conquer the situation, you all. And so if you push me in the water, yes, learn how to swim. If you push me out of a plane, yes, I'll learn how to fly. I may have never done it before, but I'll do it in that moment. Try to bury me and watch me spread roots and grow. What am I saying this evening? I'm saying make sure you look inside yourself and understand, no, this is not about being superheroes. Although when I was younger, I wanted to be a part of the Justice League. I'll admit that, I like, the whole Batman and Superman and Aquaman and Wonder Twin power activated and all that kind of stuff. But I discovered one day that I have something just a little more significant than Wonder Twin power that can activate. I had an inner strength. I had a fortitude. I had tenacity. I had a determination. I had perseverance. And I have one of those nothing is going to get me down today kind of moments. And I'm sharing that with you because I want you to call on those moments when it seems like life is trying to beat you up or beat you down. Don't worry about anybody trying to shovel dirt on you. You stay right there, because sometimes we don't always feel like getting up. But stay right there and just let your roots grow and let your roots sprout. Pull nourishment from wherever you are. Pull nourishment from wherever you are. Stay there and breathe. So that when you stand up strong, and you come back kind of like a character did. You come back stronger, better, and faster. Learn how to conquer your situations. Whatever it takes, learn how to conquer your situations, even if it means you got to step back and look at it differently, because sometimes the situation is not going to change. The only thing that might change is your perspective of who you are in that situation. I've often said, I don't need God to change the situation. Sometimes I just need God to change me in the situation. And there are other times when I don't need him to change the situation. I need him to change my perspective of what's going on. So one of the things that I offer us this evening is the ability to look inside of us and find those superhero kind of strengths. To find the stuff that really makes us uniquely us and unapologetically us. For all the strength that you have inside of you, don't apologize. Use it. Don't be intimidated by anybody else. Use the strength that you have. When you have one of those down moments, it is about knowing that self-preservation really is the first law of nature. Save yourself. If you are on an airplane, you all know how the script goes. If you are on an airplane and there was a need for oxygen when the mask falls, you know what they say. Before trying to help someone else with theirs, help yourself. And that's what I'm saying this evening. When you're in those situations, when you're pushed in the water, when you're pushed out of a plane, and when you're thrown on the ground, learn how to save yourself. Learn how to then realize this is what I'm made of. This is what life has taught me. We're not living from one day to the next for no reason at all or just for the fun of it, but we're living to learn. And I hope we're learning to live. Life tries to bury you, spread your roots, and you have a comeback and say, all right, I got one for you this time. Before you pile the dirt 6 feet, you're going to hear and feel and see my roots anchoring and settling me where I am. It's about knowing how to settle yourself wherever you are. That's why the quote says, spread your roots. Learn how to settle yourself. Because when you come back all cantankerous and you're fighting and you're swinging and you're flailing, you're losing energy. Learn how to settle yourselves where you are. Spread your roots. And then you'll spring up and you'll grow. And you'll be like a cedar in Lebanon. You'll be like a tree that's planted by the rivers of the water, that you won't be easily moved. The storm and the winds will come and you won't be so easily moved. Why? Because you will have been born out of adversity. You will have been strengthened because of trouble. And you will have been fortified because of problems. All that you survived. All that you conquered. And all that you victoriously endured. Got to go into the next quote. But I could sit there and I could stay here with you and talk about the moments of staying settled in the midst of chaos, staying settled in the midst of problems, staying settled in the midst of trouble. That is the best perspective when it comes to how to handle the troubles of life. Be settled. So that you can say, I shall not be moved. I'm just like a tree that's planted by the waters. And everybody don't necessarily see the roots that anchors that tree. You know they're there. Settle yourself, spread your roots, and grow. All right, I've got to move on to the quote from May 17th. So let me do that. And the quote from May 17th says this: position and prestige mean nothing without principle and practice. Oh my goodness, position and prestige mean nothing without principle and practice. This is about understanding the difference between being superficial and performance and stepping on the stage. It's about knowing the difference between all of that stuff versus character and integrity. It's about understanding how others see and view you versus how you see and view and know yourself. They can form an opinion about you, but you have knowledge of who you are. You have an experience of who you are because you know where you've been in life and what you've gained, what wisdom you've acquired. So you've got to understand that position and prestige, how other people see you, your reputation in their eyes, your reputation based on positions that you hold in life, in your social circle, in your profession, in your career, in your civic affiliations. Those things mean nothing without principle and practice. Because you can know a whole lot, and if you don't put it in practice, it means nothing. If it's not a part of your character, your integrity, we talked about it just this past lesson, who you are, the stuff inside of you. Listen, position and prestige, that stuff is temporal. Because how many of you all know that people will change their opinions about you on a dime? People will turn on a dime. Let something, one thing, go contradictory to who or what they thought you were and how they thought you would respond, how you would reply. Their opinions of you will shift like the wind. Prestige that you have means absolutely nothing. I've seen people with prestige go to jail. I've seen people with prestige go to prison. I've seen people with prestige die. So your position and your prestige means nothing unless you have principle, unless you have principles, unless you have ethics, unless you have morality, unless you have character. What you do pales in comparison to who you are. So your position pales in comparison when it comes to the principle that you hold. The reputation that you may enjoy in a circle, in a space, in a time, within among or a population, your prestige, your reputation pales in comparison when it comes to your practice, how you show up, how you be, how you respond, how you move, how you navigate life. It's more important to be able to navigate life than to hold a reputation. I get it. I understand some of y'all are going to go deep. You're going to the Bible about, a good name. But a good name is not your position or your prestige, but a good name is based on your principle of who you are. It is based on the practice of what you do. That's how a good name is formed. Let's focus on what's important. I am more concerned. Yes, and I am thankful. I am thankful for where I have come in life. I'm thankful for the degrees that I hold. I'm thankful for the career paths, plural, that I have enjoyed. But I'm more thankful for what life has taught me about who I am. I'm more thankful about knowing how to show up and how to be human, how to be kind, how to be compassionate. I am more thankful for that and those kinds of things than I am for the degrees that I hold or the careers that I've enjoyed. And God knows I've enjoyed my careers. God knows I'm thankful for my degrees. I'm thankful for all of that. But I'm more thankful. I'm more thankful for the intangible stuff that makes me smile when I look in the mirror these days, that the creation that God has fashioned by his hand. Has nothing to do with arrogance, has nothing to do with ego, but I'm thankful that I've learned some of the lessons that life has taught me. That's why I can write a book called Billboards to Better. Why? Because they were not always so good or so better in my life. But I've learned a few things, you all. And I show up here every Tuesday and Thursday, hoping to be able to share the knowledge, spread the wealth, and pay it forward because somebody made an investment in my life. And I declare that their investment in me would never go without a return. And so I'm hopeful for that this evening. You know, one of the things that I've told many of my students over the years, and I've had the privilege to teach at one of the world's finest institutions. I've taught at a few, but I've had the privilege to teach at one of the world's finest institutions. And I've said to my students there, the best way that you can ever make me proud of you is by paying it forward. Whatever you think I've sown into your life, however you think I've contributed to your life, do me a favor. Do that and more for somebody else. That's what it's about, you all. It's about learning the life's lessons and having principle and things that you can pour into people. That's what our experience is all about. I'm hoping that even though we're exchanging information via chat, I'm hoping that there are things that you can say whereby you're pouring into my life. As I hope that I'm pouring something into your life. I hope every single Tuesday and Thursday when I show up, I pour inspiration into somebody's life. I pour motivation into somebody's life. I pour the zeal, the desire, the hope to be better into somebody's life. That's what I hope. That's what I desire. I got to go on, you all. When I'm dead and gone, I don't want people going on and on and on and on what they thought my successes looked like. But I'd rather them talk about the person. I'd rather them talk about my character. I'd rather them talk about how I did what I did, how I showed up. I'd rather them talk about my motivation for wanting to see people become, do, and show up better. That's what's important to me. And I've never shared that. I don't think I've ever shared that with you all in a setting like this. But when I'm gone, and I hope to be here many more years if I may be very honest, but when I'm gone, I don't want people talking about the things that they thought made me a success. That's not important. What is important is, did I touch somebody's life? Did I cause somebody to have a better perspective of who they are? Did I help somebody realize that you can make it in this thing called life? Was I not selfish in offering somebody a helping hand? That's what inspiration is about, you all. It's about wanting better for yourself, but equally wanting better for somebody else. That's what I hope they say. That's what I hope they say. Let me go on to May 18th. All right. Wow. Isn't it ironic that I talked about, and here I wrote the book, but it's ironic that I would talk about the things that I would want people to say when I die, and listen to the quote from May 18th. It says, death isn't the ultimate winner. We defeat death every morning when we wake up. And even when I die, guess what? We're waking up. We're getting up. That's the hope of the believer. That is the hope of the believer. So in your quest to become better, if there's a spiritual aspect or spiritual component of you, to you, if there's a part of you that wrestles with what happens when it's all said and done, if there's a part of you, a facet of you that says, hey, here's a part of life. Death is a part of life. Here's a part of life that I've yet to conquer because I don't know what it is about. I've never experienced it. But here is the hope of it all. Death is not the ultimate winner. I guess I've got to speak to the spiritual aspect of who we are this evening. Death is not the ultimate winner. Can't be the ultimate winner. Why? Because we wake up more times than we die. Live a year. You wake up 365 days. And if you happen to die the next one, at least you've only died one time, but you got to wake up 365 days. Death is not the ultimate winner. Every day we wake up, we defeat death. Death is like a bee sting. It only injures one time. And so my heart, my hope is that as a believer, I'm encouraging you, saying, you know what? Let me just prepare myself. This is just a part of life. Let me just square my shoulders and understand it's just a part of life. But my hope is this. My hope is knowing that just as I wake up on this side every day, when I go to sleep in what is called an eternal rest, I'm going to wake up again. Don't be so consumed by this thing called death. Don't be so consumed by it until you forget to live. But live life to its fullest every single day. And I think it becomes important for me to share this because I've buried so many loved ones. And I used to become so consumed in grief, so overwhelmed in mourning, until I would withdraw. And I would go into that space of darkness and that space where I didn't seem to enjoy life. And I had to somehow get myself out of that space and out of that place, because that can be a very dark place. That can be a very lonely place until whereby you're so consumed with not being happy. You're so consumed with not living. You're so consumed with not walking in light because you're afraid of what you don't know. So I shared this. I remember I distinctly wrote this and shared it because I did not want people to be trapped and ensnared and entangled in those dark moments of emotional captivity and enslavement to the point where they didn't live. I think when I wrote that, somewhere in the midst of my family, I think when I wrote that piece, there had been a death almost every single month. And in some instances, more than one. And I had to say to myself, Cutler, you cannot live there. What you've got to learn to do is live in the hope that you claim to have. Live in the joy of what you know to be true. And the joy of what I knew to be true was that I was waking up every single day. Yeah, there were some days that I woke up without the loved ones that I had just talked to a couple of weeks ago, but I still got to wake up. And I got to wake up and still have other loved ones to communicate with. Didn't mean I wasn't sad, didn't mean that I wasn't grieving, didn't mean that I was not mourning, but it gave me a new perspective, and it gave me what I call a blessed hope. It gave me a peace and an assurance that life was worth the living. I'm not doing grief counseling, grief coaching. I'm just sharing my experience. I had to say to myself, that's not a place where I wanted to be. That's not a place where I wanted to stay. That's not a place where I wanted to exist and dwell. So I'm just sharing with you all. Every morning when you get up, and I said it somewhere else in the book, but I said, make sure that you have a party twice a day. So I got to end on a high note, you all. Make sure you have a party twice a day. When you wake up in the morning, have a party. When you get ready to go to bed at night, have a party, celebrate. Because you got a chance to see what the day was going to look like. And you got a chance to sow into your life. Nobody's going to drop seeds and sow into my life any more than me. So when I see the day, I wake up and I celebrate. And when I get ready to go to bed, I rejoice and I celebrate. I have a party because I hope somewhere during the day I've sown seeds into my own life. Seeds of knowing how to show up and become better. Don't you all wait on anybody else to sow into your life. Y'all gonna make me do this. I got enough stuff to sow into my own life. This is only 3 of the 7. I got enough stuff to sow into my own life. Find something where you can sow into your own life. If nobody speaks anything positive into your life, write your own positivity quote for the day. If nobody pats you on the back, take one of your hands, reach over your shoulder, and pat yourself on the back. And say, I'm patting myself because every pat I feel, I'm defeating death. Every seed I sow into my life, I'm defeating death. And I thank God for every time that my lungs expand and contract. I'm defeating death. Y'all, y'all made me get caught up on that. But I'm telling you, you learn how to rejoice. Find something to rejoice about every single day. You defeat death every morning when you wake up. And it's not the ultimate winner, because it only happens one time. All right? Y'all listen. I started this conversation by talking about knowing what's within you and what's inside of you. And I want to thank you all for spending these past 1,800 seconds with me. I hope that you know within you there is something called consistency. I hope that you know there's something inside of you called perseverance. And so as I close out this evening, I want to share this poem with you from my book, Thoughts Keep Flowing. It's also available here on Amazon.com. So go over to Amazon.com and pick it up. But it's called Consistent Perseverance. Simple poem, but listen to these words. Seasons fall. Waters fall. All fall and are beckoned to stand tall, stand up, stand still, and persevere. Never hear, never stumble, never falter, or become ensnared by seasons. All right, you all, hey, thank you for sharing these 1,800 seconds with me. I'm here every Tuesday, every Thursday. Do me a favor. Let's continue building community, maintaining connectivity. You all stay safe, stay sane, keep your heads up, keep your hopes up, and know from my heart to yours, from my heart to your heart, there is and always will be much love. Thank you, fellow passengers. Until Thursday, goodbye, good night, and I'll see you then.